Support WrestleTalk!
Donate on Patreon.
A special thank you to Undefeated Bianca Roman Urena for being an awesome pledge hammer on Patreon. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Stacked News. My name is Chopper Pete Cornell. Today is the day of Super Arabia, and Ollie and Luke will be live streaming the whole event. Poor bastards. You can join in with them here on WrestleTalk's YouTube channel, starting with the pre-show at 6 p.m. UK time or 1 p.m. Eastern. As such, I've stepped in to do the Stacked News in their place while they try to mentally prepare for the 17-hour-long match between Triple H and Randy Orton. We've got a stacked show for you today, including the 24/7 championship changing hands again and then again, Goldberg's SmackDown promo reportedly not being scripted, new NXT signees being offered 5-year contracts, AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view Buyrates, and the latest on a possible women's match taking place in Saudi Arabia later today. Click the timestamps in the description to be taken to any of those stories right now. But before we get into it, make sure to have yourself a super click party. Super click! By pressing the thumbs up, subscribing and enabling notifications, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day, which today is, who do you think should be in the first ever WWE women's match in Saudi Arabia? But first, we've got another 24/7 championship title change. Again, which was also won back. Again. After their rather funny scuffle on a golf course, which saw Jinder Mahal appear in his wrestling gear for some reason, R-Truth and Jinder Mahal went back and forth again, as Mahal rolled up Truth on the tarmac before them boarding a plane to Saudi Arabia. Mahal would run off with the title, and in a separate video later in the day, Truth would win the title back by pinning Mahal while he was napping, although I'm not sure if he's pinning him or trying to suffocate him. Truth then celebrated winning the title back by yelling loudly and waking up all the other wrestlers on the plane, Smorp, who then chased Truth into the aeroplane toilet. I guess Truth is just gonna stay there for the rest of the flight. Godspeed to every other wrestler's bladders. Let's hope Goldberg wasn't on the flight with him and was desperate to get to the toilet, because Goldberg and doors don't get along too well, after the one time he headbutted one before a promo and busted himself open. Speaking of Goldberg promos, the WWE Hall of Famer appeared on this week's episode of SmackDown Live in order to build to his match with The Undertaker at Super Arabia, and he cut one of the best promos of the year. Goldberg was believable, genuine, and felt a lot more real than, I don't know, let's say some promo where a guy talks about hummingbirds and doesn't make any sense and rambles on for 5 minutes. Oh yeah, that promo was on the same show. The reason for this being the case is because according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Goldberg's promo wasn't scripted. Goldberg reportedly has a similar deal to Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and Daniel Bryan in that he's given the freedom to say whatever he likes. Why is being able to talk freely a perk? Shouldn't it be the norm? And then if someone is particularly struggling with promos, you can give them a writer to help assist with it. WWE is topsy-turvy. The promo in question was rather excellent, and it did more to build to their match at Super Arabia than literally any other segment for any other match on the card. Shocking, letting people talk in their own character voice leads to good promos. Who could have foreseen that? Well, Jon Moxley, for one. Moxley's departure and subsequent appearances and interviews are being felt throughout the wrestling industry. The Moxley effect, if you will. That's a term I'm coining, by the way, so anyone using it, send me royalties. The Moxley effect is very much still being felt within WWE, and one of Moxley's primary complaints about the company was his overproduced, overwritten promos. So maybe, just maybe, seeing Goldberg cut a very good one on SmackDown when he wasn't scripted might just start to change Vince McMahon's mind. But probably not. Don't hold your breath. In fact, actually, definitely don't do that. You will suffocate and you will die from holding your breath for too long, because Vince McMahon doesn't change his mind. Ever. That's kind of his thing, you know? Another factor of the Moxley effect has seemingly taken hold of the Performance Center and NXT, as further expanded upon in Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. WWE have a pretty sketchy history when it comes to contracts and signing talent, whether it be their stance on their wrestlers being contracted talent and not employees to avoid having to provide benefits, yet still demanding exclusivity and retaining the ability to refuse releases. That makes sense. Or denying release requests and extending contract lengths due to time being injured, Reportedly, WWE sure aren't short of controversy surrounding their contracts. Moxley's departure from the company has seemingly awoken something inside one Vince McMahon. As Moxley departed at the end of his contract so there were no legal ramifications and refused all other offers, it seems WWE have now taken this information and ramped it up to 11. Reports are that new NXT signees are being offered 5-year contracts as opposed to the standard 3. 3 years is still a long time in and of itself, but asking new signees, some of which won't be very experienced with wrestling at all, to commit to 5 years, with the potential of that length being extended if you get injured, that's bonkers, that's crazy. This is just the latest attempt by WWE to lock down talent and avoid another Moxley effect from taking place when they leave the company. Moxley's appearance at AEW's debut show Double or Nothing was a long time in the making, and it was just one part of a very successful show, including Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega and the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, just to name a couple. Now there's been an update on the pay-per-view buy rate for Double or Nothing. Last week it was reported on the Wrestling Observer that Double or Nothing was estimated to have drawn around 98,000 pay-per-view buys, which includes both TV and digital purchases, with an almost exact 50-50 split between the two. That split was actually somewhere in the region of 75 to 25 in the UK, because the majority of the marketing surrounding the show in the UK revolved around ITV box office. That 98,000 buy number has now been further clarified, and AEW's first show is estimated to have drawn somewhere in the region of 98,500 to 113,000 pay-per-view buys. For a bit of context, All In drew 55,000 pay-per-view buys, and December to Dismember, which was WWE's lowest bought pay-per-view ever before the WWE Network came in, drew around 90,000 buys. They've already managed to outdraw ECW. Well, the bad one. But still, this is some great stuff for a promotion that hasn't started weekly TV yet, and their entire promotional work was pretty much exclusively done online. These buy numbers for future shows are expected to increase over time, especially once weekly TV kicks in October on TNT. AEW have of course still got a ways to go to reach the heights of what a regular WWE pay-per-view would draw before the network days, but this is a very promising start for the promotion. Something else that could actually be promising is the potential of having a WWE women's match take place in Saudi Arabia at Super Arabia. Now it seems that match may actually be taking place. It was previously reported by PW Insider that both Alexa Bliss and Natalya have traveled to Saudi Arabia potentially for a first ever WWE women's match in the kingdom. This was compounded by the reliable WrestleVotes, who stated that the original plan for the match was Nia Jax versus Natalya, but with Jax being injured, it seems Bliss has been swapped in her place. Now there is further evidence to suggest that the women's match may be taking place, as on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer stated that WWE have technically been able to hold a women's match for a while now, due to recent changes within the country. Prince Mohammed bin Salman Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud has vowed that the country will be rude. Yeah, it will be, but that's not what I was supposed to. Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, that's a mouthful, has vowed that the country will be ruled by moderate Islam, which has allowed females to begin working in other entertainment mediums in the country. As it stands currently, very few people know whether this match will be happening or not, and Alexa Bliss and Natalya, who may be performing the match, aren't two of them. However, Meltzer suggests that high-ranking officials within WWE will know whether this is the case or not. If the match has been given the green light, give me the green light, is to prevent some backlash from within the Saudi kingdom itself. A women's match has reportedly been in the works in Saudi Arabia for a long time, with WWE and Saudi officials just waiting for the right time to pull the trigger. If the match doesn't end up happening at Super Arabia itself, then the likelihood is that Alexa and/or Natalya will appear to announce the women's match that will take place when they return to Saudi Arabia later this year on November 1st for an unnamed show as of yet. Saudi Arabia 4.0, the forefront of change, has been a line that WWE have been pushing for quite some time now regarding their Saudi Arabia shows. And while this has most certainly been a slow burner and in no way excuses the other controversy surrounding the shows, having a women's match in Saudi Arabia is an actual form of change. It's just a shame then that this change has to be marred under the Saudi Arabia banner and all the controversy that comes with that. Regardless, if a women's match does take place at the show, it's a tiny little silver lining on what will hopefully be an increased female presence within the kingdom. I think they've missed the trick here though. They should have brought Becky Lynch with them. I mean, she's the man, after all. Has the Pokemon fandom gone too far with creating sexual content around its characters? Click the video to my right to be taken to Laurie and I discussing the subject. And make sure to check back here to watch along with Ollie and Luke when Super Arabia goes live. Press the thumbs up, subscribe, and enable notifications. Leave us a comment answering the question of the day too. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Cornell, and that was wrestling.